Let's talk about Jerry Rice. Last night, he was asked which quarterback he would take all time for one game. So here's what he said. It's a whole different era, and I would go with Montana any day because he was Joe Cool, and he was in an era where he was not as protected. So, you know what? This got us thinking. Nick, if you could have one quarterback all time for one game, who would you take?
Man, I think I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. I think that's the guy that
Of
we've seen him
course.
come up big in these moments. And I love Jerry Rice. He was one of my favorite players growing up, and Joe Montana was great. But he's right. He was playing in a different era, and it was harder to play quarterback in that era, harder to play offense and receiver in that era. But they were on the 49ers, and for much of their reign, it was pre-salary cap, and they had them and the Cowboys had all the talent, and nobody was going anywhere. So I don't mean this as a slight, but if you want to talk about different eras, Jerry has to take that into consideration. Like, not to take anything away from Joe Montana, but nobody could leave. They had all the best players. They just had to beat the Cowboys every year, and then in the Super Bowl maybe knock off the Broncos or the Bills or something. It was a entirely different situation than the NFL that came to be after '93 and free agency really took hold and kicked in, and guys were moving, and you couldn't just stockpile and keep them all there and spend all the money. So I don't know, Kimberly. Tell me why I'm right.
Oh, you're not going to hear me say that. You're not going to hear me say that on this show. You know, it did not even surprise me that Dominique was going to pick the new shiny toy, the young toy, the new thing, right? That is so him, right? To forget about the old school. But here, let me listen. I got my receipts, okay? So the answer is Joe Montana, and here's why. Because who was Brady before Brady? Joe Montana. Did Joe Montana ever lose a Super Bowl? No. Okay. So you talk about that era and the type of teams that they had to put together. No, guys stayed forever. Okay, if the Cowboys were so loaded, was Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes beating teams that had Lawrence Taylor, Drew Pearson, Tony Dorsett? No, it was Joe Montana. Like, the idea that we have seen this man win every Super Bowl he has ever played in, and we are going to say Patrick Mahomes, no disrespect to Patrick because I think he's amazing, but I'm just going to represent for the old heads because Dominique just wants to move forward and forget about the good guys who set the stage. So what do you think, Damien?
Kimberly, I can't even believe you guys even
Kimberly.
asking this question. We already Dominique already heard. Dominique knows where I'm going. Kimberly, you know where I'm going.
Tattoo on his heart.
Of course.
Tattoo on his heart.
I'm going
Of
with Brady.
course.
All right, I'm going with Brady.
So typical.
And Dominique talked about how Joe Montana thrived in pre-free agency. There's no question you could keep all your talent. So let's talk about post-free agency. Let's talk about free agency now, where it's hard to keep talent year after year after year. And who has dominated in this era, in the salary cap era, more than any other player in the history of this league? Tom Brady. Over 20 years. How many Super Bowls he's been to? 9, winning 6, like dominating the AFC East, has been in the championship game, 14 years? 14 years Tom Brady has been in a championship game. So
you guys just said
I should just get up. I should get up and walk off the set because what else needs to be said? Really?
Damien. One of those Super Bowls. Listen, you know what? Forget it. I can't even believe. Actually, I can. The fact that you would go with Tom Brady totally makes sense. And it makes sense that Dominique would totally pick Patrick Mahomes, who beat a Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers team as his QB. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Jimmy Garoppolo of the 49ers because with almost 6 minutes to go, they almost pulled it off. However, this is in defense of Joe Montana, who in all his 4 Super Bowls, his teams were outscoring opponents by 75 combined points. Like that's not happening. You want to talk about how those teams were loaded. The man beat those loaded teams. So yes, a different era, but he still did it. Every time he needed to step up and win a Super Bowl, he won the Super Bowl. Did he not?
I mean, That's not the question though. So like if this is the question, the greatest of
You
all
gonna
time, then I'm going with Damien's argument because Damien has all the pelts on the wall. He has more,
Who
and he's
would you
been greater in that
choose?
moment.
Who would
All
you
right, I
choose
know.
for one game? Because I
Agreed.
can
The
see it on the screen.
question,
Who would you
right? I
choose for one
know. But you and
game?
Damien are
The
having that
guy
argument.
who the guy who wins every time he's in the Super Bowl, that is my pick. That is all. That is
Well, I
all.
mean, I
I'm
think that for one game, I choose the person who's never had a bad game and who has the higher ceiling, and that's Patrick Mahomes. So I agree, Patrick Mahomes is not the greatest. He falls behind Tom Brady. He falls behind Joe Montana. I agree. But if you're looking for someone who you know can reach heights that we have never seen before, I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes. So, if anything, I'm willing to listen to the arguments that you guys are making, but you're having a different argument. You're
That
talking
is
about
so big
who's
of
the
you. That's
greatest.
so big of you to listen.
I'm willing to listen to it, but you guys are talking about the greatest. And unfortunately, you're wrong about that too, Kimberly. Like, I'm sorry, you got Charlie.
Wow.
I don't want to gang up on you, but you and Charlie came on here trying to stone on us because you got your new show,
Don't
you got a podcast.
don't
First
mess
take,
with
Uh-oh,
her
well,
me
we're
take.
teammates
in my
now.
pink on inauguration day, okay? Do not mess with me on inauguration day. My pink
Oh
Kamala
my
time.
gosh.
No,
Dominique wants
don't bring
already.
it.
This man, Patrick Mahomes has played what? This is what, fourth year, and you already
It's
throwing
30
him
years a
out there
starter.
just. I
All
mean,
willy nilly, just like
you just chasing
just
the shiny toy. You chasing the shiny toy right
tell him,
now.
Damien.
I mean, come
Tell him,
on, man.
Damien.
Like
Thank you. Come
you
on,
don't even
man.
have you don't even have a real argument. Patrick Mahomes the best right now, so I'm gonna just roll with that guy.
That's
So
what I said.
Patrick. Oh my gosh! If I talked to you last week, you say who is the greatest quarterback that you've ever seen, you would have said Patrick Mahomes. Now all of a sudden you acting like I'm just going prisoner of the moment. That man been real ever since he stepped his cleats on the NFL field.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.